Curry of women's basketball, and she has done nothing to push that back. I mean, this young lady is spectacular. She's been great for women's basketball overall, not just college basketball, but women's basketball. I think she has the potential when all is said and done.
Reese balled out. Angel Reese is a stud, and we have been on this show, and myself, I've been championing Angel Reese. I will also say Joe Biden is tripping. Absolutely tripping. Let me preface with that. That must be said, that must be heard.
To be arguably the greatest ever, because when you have that kind of range and that kind of handle, and you can pull up from the parking lot like Steph Curry, for crying out loud.
I would be remiss to not mention that it appears we have lost our ability to disagree respectfully in society. I don't condone Angel Reese laughing.
Caitlin Clark didn't just break records with over 515,000 votes. She's redefined what it means to be a WNBA superstar. But here's the wild part. She's single-handedly lifted her entire team into all-star history. How did one player cause this ripple effect, and what does it mean for the future of the league? You won't believe how the Indiana Fever became the epicenter of women's basketball. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. The Indiana Fever weren't exactly what you'd call WNBA royalty. A team that was practically living in the basement of the standings just a few years ago wasn't expected to be anywhere near all-star conversations. But then Caitlin Clark showed up and everything changed.
I think that's something that you can transition to the next level, and it's going to be spectacular to see, and I can't wait to see it. But here's the reality of the situation. She instigated this kind of stuff. Let's call it what it is. She was waving. She was doing the Cena.
And saying a joke, or we not coming, period, which she also said on social media to the First Lady of the United States. I don't condone that. In the same manner that I don't condone the founder of Barstool saying that Angel Reese is a class.
How about what she did to Raven Johnson? She didn't just go into the lane and not guard her against South Carolina in the national semifinal. She waved her off.
Terrible. For celebrating in the face of Caitlin Clark. I think that you can disagree with Angel Reese celebrating in the face of Caitlin Clark, and you can disagree with Dr. Joe Biden saying that the losing team can come to the White House without doing it disrespectfully.
Her jaw-dropping 515,000 votes didn't just set a record. It became the spark no one saw coming. From the moment the numbers came out, it was clear. Clark wasn't just breaking through on her own. She was dragging the entire Fever franchise into the spotlight with her. The Fever dominating all-star voting? It's a sentence that sounds almost impossible to believe. For so long, this franchise was the underdog, a team destined to rebuild without ever getting the payoff. Yet, here we are, the Fever landing not just one, but 4 players in the voting chaos. Caitlin's teammates, Aaliyah Boston, who's a rookie phenom herself, steady scorer Kelsey Mitchell, and even Lexi Hull, who isn't exactly a household name, are all now sitting comfortably in top 10 conversations. Can you imagine the shift for these players from grinding through a losing season to sitting front and center in Indy's biggest basketball story? And it wasn't just about the big names. Even bench players, who rarely get minutes outside practice, felt the aftershock of Clark's star power. Fever fans didn't stop at voting for Caitlin. They pushed hard for the entire roster. The connection felt real, tangible. When have you ever seen a whole city rally behind a team with this kind of energy? Now put all of that into context. Indianapolis, a city that's hosted countless basketball moments, is about to light up again for the WNBA All-Star Game.
But I'm going a step further with this. We all know that there's a white-black issue here, because the fact of the matter is, when Caitlin did it, people were celebrating it, and they were talking about nothing but her greatness.
There is a fine line between confidence and arrogance. Everyone in society navigates walking it. I know that I do. But we have to be mindful of disagreeing respectfully.
But then the second the sister stepped up and threw it back in her face, now you got half the basketball world saying, well, you know what, that's not the classiest thing to do. Yeah. That's not the way.
It was the exact same thing.
It behooves, because I cannot find the value in laughing in the face of the First Lady. I can't find that value. So I would be remiss to, while I champion Angel Reese, not simultaneously.
Typically, the host team provides the setting, but this time, it's also providing the stars. The idea of a team once struggling to get fans in seats now headlining the year's biggest showcase? That's not hype. This is history being made. And while Caitlin Clark's rise fuels it all, the Fever are no longer a one-player story. They're a franchise reborn. But what happens when a player bursting with her own star power, like Angel Reese, seems to fade out of the picture entirely? Angel Reese is everywhere online. She's the name that pops up in viral posts, the face of women's basketball culture on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Off the court, you'd think she's the biggest name in the game. But then all-star voting rolled around, and the results? Not even in the top 10. That's not just surprising, it's almost shocking. Especially when you realize Lexi Hull, who doesn't have even a fraction of Reese's online clout, made it into 9th place with over 160,000 votes. It raises a big question. How does someone so famous off the court not translate that energy into fan votes? Angel Reese has had her moments, huge ones. She's created highlights that rack up views in the millions and sparked conversations that extend beyond basketball. Whether it's her signature celebrations or her impact on younger players, there's no denying she brings attention to the sport. But somehow, her fans didn't show up when it mattered most. As one observer bluntly put it, Angel Reese fans, you guys aren't fans of her. You don't think she's most worthy? You don't think she's a star in this league? That's a tough pill to swallow for someone credited with bringing viewers to the WNBA. On the flip side, let's compare her to someone like Lexi Hull, a player who doesn't make headlines but clearly connected with her fan base enough to grab a top 10 spot.
Now, you can make an argument that if they're doing excessive celebration in her face after the game is over, all right, then you can make that argument. But you had people complaining about it when she was doing it during the game. Wait a minute.
Hold accountable respect that I believe the elderly in society deserve, respect that I believe those that are credentialed via doctorates and via educational status deserve, and the respect that those...
LSU told you before the game.
Yeah.
But we didn't like how she was acting towards South Carolina. She ain't gonna do that against us. Correct me if I'm wrong, Janae. This is exactly what they were saying. Going into the game,
I believe who hold positions of power in society and the world deserve. Angel Reese, absolute stud, absolute baller. I am a champion. And she is, more importantly, a literal champion, while I am a champion of her.
Hull didn't rely on social media buzz. She leaned into the Fever's community-first approach, and it paid off. This proves that an engaged, loyal fan base outweighs follower counts and viral moments. As one comment said, Reese's fans might talk a good game instead of being about a good game. So, is internet fame overrated when it comes to real support in sports? Reese's absence among the top names leaves us wondering how her career will shape up in a league where connection and votes, not just clicks, seem to matter most. That gap is becoming too glaring to ignore. But where does the WNBA go from here? Caitlin Clark didn't just make history with her record-breaking votes. She changed the way fans connect with basketball. Her rise wasn't about flashy moments or viral popularity. It was about building something real with her team and the Fever's fan base. A rebuilding franchise turned into an all-star sensation because of chemistry and loyalty, not just stats. That's what makes this different. The Fever's success isn't just a moment, it's a movement. And as Indianapolis lights up for the All-Star game, it's clear this isn't the end of the story. This is just the beginning. Where women's basketball goes next, that's the part to watch.